Welcome! And hey, listen, everyone, you've switched to
Ooh.
Nintendo Voice Chat, episode 329, and that's a very good choice that you switched to this show. Thanks for listening, and today we have Fran, Pear, myself, on a very exciting day. Today, a new Nintendo console was announced. Well, it's more of a Nintendo console handheld hybrid,
Yeah.
and you can switch between modes seemingly pretty fast. Unbelievable? They
Not.
call it Switchcraft.
Oh God,
Oh my
Sam.
God, this is
I
terrible.
gotta come up with slogans now
Oh, wow.
because we have a new system with a new name and
I
we have
like
to do so many
Switchcraft.
things with it. We're gonna be you like Switchcraft?
I don't know if it's actually that amazing, but
You like Life's a Switch. Like
wow,
that one?
This is
pretty
not
good.
going well.
As you can see, we're going to not only be talking about the NS. I said NS.
Yep.
Yes.
No,
Not
keep
X.
going.
I like that.
We're also going to be looking at the reveal and kind of scrubbing through it. And if you watch us on YouTube at youtube.com/Nintendo Voice Chat, you'll be on the same page as us. While you are there, please subscribe. It's a great channel.
Yeah, that's
We
right.
put stuff like this on it. But if you're listening, we're going to describe what we're seeing as well and what hopefully you've already seen on IGN all day today.
And
We'll be
you know,
very descriptive.
Jose and Brian are both out. Jose's on assignment in some other country, but we'll get him back soon, so
Mhm.
you get to hear his and their impressions probably next week as well. So
Good point.
until
Guys.
then, you get this amazing.
I haven't been on the
treat.
show. You realize in like years.
Oh yeah, who are you?
Since
It's
the last
amazing.
console announcement?
For those that are new here, I used to be on IGN 64 and IGN Cube, and then I moved
What
on
are
to do
those?
video. I know, and then I moved on to do video and blah blah blah. But I know some of you might remember, but I honestly haven't been on a show in forever. So
Okay.
thank you for
We used
having me
to be on
back.
shows all the time.
I know.
Fran covered the Nintendo 64 and the GameCube, more the GameCube era
Yeah.
launch, and then
Yeah.
probably the Wii launch a little bit.
Oh yeah.
And so this is just another console launch for you.
Are you gonna make
You've
a
seen
Play
'em all.
controller mock-up of this?
Oh
one?
yeah,
Like
that's
you did
famous.
with the
story.
GameCube or no?
I don't have to anymore. Well, actually, no, I do.
Yeah.
Tell you how.
You-
Think it's a sad puppy controller, yeah?
I made a
Yeah.
fake GameCube controller and did a hands-on with it.
Nice.
If you read the detail, I talked about the clicking buttons, so maybe I actually used a real one at the time.
If you
Anyway,
come to IGN on one of our first Fridays, you can visit IGN on First Fridays. You can see Fran's handcrafted GameCube controller
beautiful.
from holding
I like
it
to
and then
call
coming
it
back and saying like, "This is what it looks like," and you made it out of clay.
a
It's really cool.
Fran-made controller.
I want
A
to talk
Fran
about this
There you
thing.
go.
I want to
All right,
talk
all right,
about
all
this
right.
thing. I want to
So
talk about.
first thing I want to talk about, the first thing they showed was the logo.
Yep.
And before showing even anything else, so we got to see this logo that looks like kind of like a skewed yin yang.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
See it
It's
all
the
over
two
the system.
forces, right? Light and dark, and positive and negative, everything together, and the system kind of reflects that. Actually,
Mhm.
how they're showing the plus and minus buttons now as
Trying to find it.
logos
There it is.
Yep.
on the built-in controllers. So they do have this kind of dichotomy between the two worlds, like handheld and console,
That's
basically
right.
coming together. It's pretty
Everything
cool.
in one.
Yeah.
And it shows it sliding in from the top.
Yeah.
So that was the first taste we got. I don't have much else to say about this except for it is in line with those ABXY branded 3DS commercials earlier this year.
Yeah, so like the classic, and
and
also the
white.
classic Super Famicom buttons that they used in their logo before. I'm not a big fan of the Nintendo Switch font.
Yeah, why
know?
doesn't it just have the Nintendo?
Yeah, I
Switch
wish
font?
it was
Whatever.
a little bit
It's
more
fine.
classy, but it looks
I'm
good.
not
I
too
like,
caught up
I
on
like
it.
the logo. Yeah,
Yep.
it's good.
All right, so then after that we got the release date,
Yep.
March
right at the beginning.
2017.
March 2017. And
that out of
then
the
we
way.
got a bunch of docks and ports and stuff that we can see. So let's start looking at
Yeah,
this
let's look
thing.
at this thing. Look,
All right, so we know that this is a controller, one of 3 types of controllers that you can use with this.
And
There's,
like 40 configurations.
I guess I should say 3 Yeah, there's more
Yeah.
configurations probably even than that. But
Yeah, 3 main controllers.
this is probably not the way you're going to be playing it the most.
Yeah, I don't think so. I consider this the secondary controller.
So describe
at
this.
home.
This is a controller that's the 2 separate controllers, which are actually called
Joy-Cons.
Joy-Con
Yeah.
L and Joy-Con R. They have
Yep.
2 different names.
because
and this-
they're not symmetrical.
They're not
if you
symmetrical.
flip
That's
them,
exactly
yeah.
right.
This is the grip, I believe.
Yes,
what
and
this
this
is
is like a Frankenstein thing where you stick them all together and kind of make a GameCube-esque controller out of it. That I described to Pear as a sad puppy. Kind of looks like its
But
face is melted.
It's a
got
handle-
little ears.
But you guys are saying this is not how you play most of the time. I think it is. Like when you're at home, most people will use this configuration because you take the LNRs off the tablet, you dock the tablet, and this is how you
and
play
then you
most
turn on
of
your
the
Pro
time.
controller.
Why? No,
With
wait.
in a single player setup, when you're on the go, you usually have the little buns and ears stuck to the side,
Mm.
or you buy the Pro
I
controller.
would contest this idea because
Okay.
you
All
can
right.
probably just leave the controller handles in there while it's docked. You don't have to take them out. So I would always leave it in unless I'm going out or want
Wait
to
a
use
second.
this, right?
Okay, but then what are you gonna play it like this, or are you gonna get another set of?
No, I'm gonna
controllers?
use my Pro controller.
Okay, well,
you see?
Yeah, that's what I think.
That's what
too.
I'll
But
do most of the time
you're a
because I'm a normal
smart-
person.
You're a smart and informed consumer. Most people, mom's gonna go
True.
buy
Well, it
this
also
thing.
costs
It
more.
comes with a sad puppy controller, and that's what they're gonna play, right?
I don't think this looks. Well, no, what remains to be seen. It has this handle cradle, which is cool. It remains to be seen if the Pro controller or this feels similar. I
Mhm.
worry that the Pro controller probably feels better. It is called Pro, so my guess is it does, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
Look how the plus and minus button has returned, but it's actually they're contoured pressable buttons.
Yeah,
You
there's
thought it
select
was-
starts.
You thought it
tiny
was the
D-pad?
world's smallest D-pad, right?
It was
That'd
at
be so
it was
great.
at minute 42nd after I saw the trailer. I'm like, I gotta tweet things and be social.
Yeah.
And I'm like, did you guys catch it? The world's smallest D-pad. And then I quickly was doubling back, and oh
Yep.
crap, that's clearly not a D-pad.
But this controller is meant to be played in this like kind of sandwich pattern as a single controller. But we also saw people playing these as two different individual controllers.
Yeah. But first, my reaction to this, like, I love the Nintendo Switch reveal and everything about it.
They
I
did a good
don't
job.
like this color scheme with that gray strip when it's like put together like that. It does look a little bit like a sad puppy, and I'm a big fan of the classic Nintendo colors on the buttons. But it doesn't look horrible to me. But it's a weird looking controller, like as weird to
It
me
is.
as the
Oh, yeah.
Dreamcast
Oh,
controller.
for sure.
Whereas like the Pro controller looks really good to me.
Yeah.
And then the camera buttons, this is the rumor we heard before, is that it wouldn't have a traditional D-pad. It has the camera buttons for the
You're
the
saying
left
the C
Joy-Con.
buttons.
The
Yes.
C buttons from the
Nintendo
N64
64
era,
controller.
right? Like, and of course that's so that you can turn this controller sideways, as you're alluding to, right?
And
like that's what
yeah.
you're gonna
And this
you're gonna show next.
Is a fascinating point because it is the first system, home console / handheld thingamajig,
Mhm.
they shipped without a D-pad.
Right?
Because now
Isn't
they
that
didn't.
crazy.
For Nintendo, yeah.
I don't think they.
Well, a
100
regular size D-pad.
Yeah, but like it doesn't have a D-pad out of the box. Yeah, I get what you're saying. You have to buy the Pro controller if you want a
Yeah.
D-pad, right?
Yeah.
So, pretty
Which is,
interesting.
I mean, it's probably going to be okay. I think we overestimate how many
Yeah.
people use the D-pad on a console nowadays. Obviously, when you're playing a fighting game or something, you want that. But if you're playing a fighting game, you probably want the Pro controller.
Or a joystick.
One thing before we move on, there are a couple of little things. First of all, you have the home button on the R side, and you have this weird kind of hybrid share button. They don't show us yet what it is. And remember, a lot of these things may be, still hidden, not really kind of clearly shown, and may even change, right? Like the labeling.
Yeah.
The labeling of the face button's exactly the same
Yeah.
as with the Wii U with the ABXY in the configuration. That weird button in the lower left, we don't know exactly what it is, but it could be
Yeah.
share.
Yeah,
right?
it's some. I mean, but what does that mean? Because you could always go to home and then share. So we'll see what it really does.
And then you see somebody's taking a bite on the second out of the second sandwich. That's because you can most likely put the cradle flat, right? You don't have to have it standing
Wait,
up
is the
vertically.
second sandwich the,
Well, the
the
He's
dock?
saying that the cradle, the dock,
The dock.
has that weird bite out of
Yeah.
the back,
Do you
probably
see the
for
gap missing there?
Oh, yeah.
contoured cables to go.
Well,
under
it's
it.
right now. If
Yes.
you're watching the video, our
Oh,
little
you can
picture,
set it down.
Our picture view is in front of it, but there's actually a little nudge, like the GameCube had those little openings at the bottom that
Yeah,
were
it's
for
to
the
tuck
modem.
wires.
Absolutely.
And so you can put it down flat and run the cable.
probably
through
for
it.
Yeah, so a
Same, yeah.
traditional console, lay it down. You'll just be able to dock it in, like that,
the front.
on flat.
Yeah,
This is the vertical
exactly.
configuration.
You notice something very, very interesting about the dock itself is that it clearly obscures the entire screen. This is not going to be a
Yeah.
dual screen DS experience.
But
It blocks the screen.
Yeah, you're not
so,
like
so
Wii U.
developers can't even have the option
Yeah.
of saying like we're going to try to do this like the Wii U. They're
Yeah.
like, like, nah, we're not doing that.
There's no notifications coming up on this.
And then,
Exactly.
the top of the screen, of course, sticks out so that you can easily grab it even without the little joy sandwiches
can
on the
you?
side, right?
Does it
Yeah.
pop right out, or
Yeah.
do you have to?
But they
jig
could have
it a little
easily made a cradle where it just powers the screen and shows something, even something simple. It could have had simple images, but no, that is not the point.
Well, that's
You're either playing it on the screen there or switching right to your
yeah,
I'm
that's
fine with
not
that.
how this thing works, right? Like, it's not going to stand next to your television set and display something. There is another feature on the back of the console that we'll see later that makes it possible to be put on a table and all that, right? And so
I'm just saying
This
you,
is
you're
not a
not going to be
dual
playing
screen
your Wii U
device.
games on it.
Yeah. Huh?
You can't play your Wii U games on it. It's,
it's
not
a-
backwards
It's
compatible.
not a dual screen device. Like,
Um,
you're not supposed to be running this and the TV.
That ties into
I see your
a
point, yeah.
question. I'm going to be peppering some mail in
You
to
got
this
up.
because I put out a request and got some amazing questions from people. This one is from Hano.
Mm-hmm.
He says this. I don't know what that means. I can't even read that letter.
Gruß aus Deutschland.
Yes.
greetings
Something-
from Germany.
He starts with this.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hallo, ihr drei Nintendo voice chatters.
After the Switch reveal,
free?
I remain skeptical as to who the Switch is for. One thing could win me over, though. If the detachable mini controllers, which we're talking about, have the gyroscopic sensors, and there's a headset for the screen, this might be an interesting avenue for VR. Could you see Nintendo doing this?
I'm gonna try
Yeah,
to
we
find
talked
this.
a little bit about that possibility that with any kind of screen device like that, you could create a headset that it slides into. But it is pretty big now that we see it. That would be like strapping an iPad to your head.
It's a
rather
little
than the
big
kind
for
of
your face,
Samsung
and then
VR.
according to some of our VR experts in house, the screen size actually hurts its ability to have the high enough resolution to not have a really bad screen door effect when it's on your face. So, like, if you ever use a Samsung, what is it called, the Galaxy,
Yeah,
or
the
just
gear.
Google Hardware.
The gear.
Yeah, the gear.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah. If you use those, like, you'll notice, like, your phone, you're already getting like when you see the pixels like right up on your eyeballs.
Yeah, I
you
mean,
see like a grid of screen door
Yeah.
pixels, and this it will be even worse than that. So it's
yeah.
unlikely that that'll be. The
I think
case.
it'd be
But
too
the
wieldy.
controllers, on the other hand, they do detach.
But
They could be gyroscopic.
we don't know yet. In the footage you can't see it, right?
I
Like
don't
there's a
think they
footage of a guy playing in an airplane, and we should say probably all of this is simulated, right? The screens aren't really like the games.
It wasn't a
probably
real
not
flight.
running on it,
That's my
right?
guess.
But we don't see anybody using them for motion controls in any of the footage. We do have Splatoon coming, right? And Splatoon famously employs motion controls as its core kind of aiming mechanism. And so you got to ask, is that something that, when you see multiple people playing it for practice, like,
Yeah.
do you need the entire gamepad for that, or could you do it with just those sensors? Or could it be in the cradle? Could it be in the the grip, right?
Yep.
Is there a gyroscopic
Well,
sensor in that?
So I was thinking about that. I think I don't think it's in the small controllers. We don't know for sure.
Yep.
But that I just highly doubt it.
Right.
And I
Well,
think
they need to have a lot of battery.
So
life.
think about this though.
Level.
How will you play Breath of the Wild unless it only works on Wii U out of the box, right? Remember you can use the magnet and stuff with the actual accelerometer in the Wii pad and everything. Meaning it's like a feature that would kind of be missing. So I think it would be important to them enough to include it out of the box. So like the grip with the two controllers hopefully comes in the box with an accelerometer. Am I making sense?
Yep.
What does the accelerometer do in Breath of the Wild?
In Breath of the Wild, there's the magnet, and so you can like, pick stuff up and move it
Additional
around. It's pretty
motion.
cool feeling, I think,
That's
out
a
of the
good
box.
point. Sorry,
There-
yeah, now I'm
There's
totally.
definitely going to be an accelerometer in either the system or the Pro
Well,
controller. I feel like
A
the
dual
Pro
analog
controller,
stick
sure.
can do what you're talking about.
Hmm?
A dual
Oh,
analog.
you
stick.
don't have to. Yeah. I just mean it's kind of something that I think is cool and unique, and they like that movement.
But what about the Pro? Like you'd have to do dual analog for that because it
Probably,
doesn't have any
or it might
adjustment.
have an accelerometer in it. Yeah,
Pro would have
probably
tilt,
would have
probably, yeah.
The PS4 controller has a
Yeah.
little bit of that.
Yeah, you
going.
can do
exactly. You
And
can
then
try-
remember,
Well, the PS3 did too.
if you
Yeah.
remember Breath of the Wild, your core device that Link carries is the Sheikah Slate, which is basically the tablet, right? It's the controller. So having this in his hands and being to kind of move around and control things. In the new footage, it doesn't show any magnet stuff,
That little
but like,
froggy.
We'll
you
get to this
remember it
later,
from the
but
old
yeah.
footage, right? Like I think they will connect the tablet to that kind of control scheme.
More on Zelda
This
later.
actually is another question just to keep the combo going because this is right on message from Steven. He says Nintendo did a great job showing how the Switch is different from the Wii U by showing that when you dock it at home, you don't need to hold the tablet. Since this may mean the tablet isn't a touch screen or an interactive piece, do you think games like Super Mario Maker were a one-and-done experience on the Wii U?
No.
I think there's more to be shown because they're quietly skirting around it, basically. And actually,
It seems like it. Like, why aren't they talking about
There's
the
no
screen?
way
They wouldn't comment on it when we asked.
because
they won't comment on
I'll
it.
tell
That's
you
why.
Think about this reveal and what they do and what they don't do. They don't show kids playing the system,
Yeah.
as you've said before too, right? This is not the Wii U. They show you clearly that it's a device and you can take it everywhere. They're very, very clear about what Switch means. I think they avoided things that liken it to the Wii U. The Wii U was all about like touch screen, and it's so important to have a second screen. They undo all of that with this trailer and make sure you don't get confused.
Yeah.
They're pulling a
absolutely-
switch, a switcheroo. Switching it up.
There's absolutely no way that this tablet does not have touchscreen.
I'd say the reveal went off
It's
without a
gonna
switch.
have touchscreen. They love Mario Maker. Mario Maker's gonna come to this
Yeah.
thing. It's gonna have touchscreen, no
And-
question.
But will it
And I-
have touch by, hands,
Well, there's
fingers,
no.
Yeah,
or
I
will it
think
have
so.
Stylus
stylus?
port. I didn't see.
I didn't see a
port.
stylus port,
So
which
that
means
means
it
There's
probably.
chalk. There's chalk. These kids are using chalk.
There's chalk control, definitely.
Or washing machine.
No,
There's
but
a pen.
but it suggests that it would have capacitive, like an
Multi-touch
iPad with
capacity,
multi-touch and touch, and not a little stylus.
I think it will
Game card.
because I thought maybe they're gonna leave Mario Run and Super Mario Run and everything to iOS and devices like that. But then I was like, no, they have it. It's gotta come to this
Yeah.
system.
And
Like,
Mario
why
Run,
not?
you don't need a touchscreen, but yeah,
No.
point taken. Like some of the mobile
True, you just
kinda
need to tap
concepts,
once. Yeah.
But no, it's gonna have touchscreen. They are rolling out information over
think so.
time. Oh, look at that! You can see the smartly the headphone port at the top because you actually have a kickstand on the
Mhm.
back. You
But
know,
nobody-
we alluded to that.
Nobody's gonna have headphone ports by the time this thing comes out.
Well,
Or
yeah,
headphones,
Yeah, we're all
sorry.
on Lightning now. So.
Well,
Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. People are gonna have headphones and headphone regular plugs. But yeah, you can plug it in. The question is, where's the power cord? Can I plug it into in the airplane to charge? Because with great power comes very little battery life, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Like, we haven't yet heard how long this thing will last when it's not.
But can
the
you go back,
cradle.
Fran?
Yeah.
I like seeing the back side of this because it
Mm-hmm.
looks like a large Vita or a PSP. Like that.
Yeah.
That puts it in perspective for me.
Mhm.
Like, oh, this is almost the size of a handheld. But me reacting to this says like, I can't put this in my jacket pocket.
Mhm.
It is a little big.
Oh
And that
no,
was my
yeah,
initial
you're not gonna be
reaction.
able to.
I don't know about that.
You're going to need a backpack.
Yeah.
Yes,
But
that's
but,
absolutely.
But think again. There is
Yeah, you think
always
so?
one of these in your pocket. Like you're not clamoring for a device the size of your phone and really the size of the 3DS to take with you. This is the special occasion. I'm going to take it with me because I'm going on a trip, so it's going to go in my backpack or my bag. That's that kind of device. Like it's not meant to replace your phone.
But
right?
these cool young people are playing it in the airport while waiting for their plane.
They have awesome backpacks
Is
with
that
lots of pins and stickers on them.
And luckily, they didn't lose their
Yeah.
Joy-Con L.
Yeah, but look, you
'Cause
can
what if
see
you do, guys? What if you lose just your Joy-Con?
Oh yeah,
Speaking
thought
of the
about that.
Joy Cons, you can see the right there. You can see
the
the,
sandwich
shoulder
triggers,
buttons,
yeah, the
right?
yeah. You
shoulders,
can see that it has all four buttons on them.
Yeah. So and the lower triggers look bigger. We don't know if they're analog, but
Yeah.
I mean, looking
Probably.
at how they stick out, probably right. Like
Mm.
it's good for racing
a little
games
bit.
or some shooters to have that.
Guys, if they're just playing this on airplanes and at the airport, why didn't it leak?
Yeah, exactly,
it's a
right.
Good question. This must be a secret Nintendo.
I see
Airport
this,
feature.
by the way, and I.
Whoa.
But you can also see that the system is not going to be very expensive because she has like ripped pants, probably doesn't have
Yeah,
a lot
right.
of money,
Disheveled.
so it's got to be a budget device, right?
Yeah.
Like,
That's all in
So
style now.
speaking of,
Does Tinder
it's-
work on this? I'm
it's
just wondering.
a
Looking at
swi-
this, I
yeah,
just-
can you swipe or not? That's the question.
it seems.
Speaking of portability, I have one other great email here from Pedro. He says,
extend.
there it is.
See,
I
can't
love
play
the idea
trailer.
of the Switch, but it hasn't signaled the end of the 3DS. I think it's very smart for Nintendo to try to merge the two markets in one device. With all the great games the 3DS gets now, will they come to the Switch alongside the dedicated home experiences? Does the next potential Bravely game? I guess he means Bravely Default. Does the next potential Bravely game now become more expensive to make on the Switch, or some of the great visual novels now will they come to the Switch?
See, that's the big question, right? Like if you watch the entire trailer again, I said they're differentiating it from the Wii U. They're also differentiating it from the DS. None of the DS franchises were shown. Like they didn't come out with
Whoa.
Pokemon, they didn't come out with Fire Emblem or anything, and they didn't come out with anything 2D. They're showing this
But
thing off
DNA
saying
are making games.
that's and honestly, I mean, let's be honest. There is the possibility that these two markets will merge, and then
Yeah.
people say, "I don't need a 3DS
I think that's what they're testing.
anymore." Like I have my phone and I'm going to use this for Nintendo games. That's probably what's going to happen. But
Yeah.
they're sure as hell trying to make it look like it ain't. Right?
If it's really expensive, they could also say, "Hey, this
Mhm.
is replacing your console and your portable.
Yeah.
So you're saving money overall."
You're really
on both
saving money
systems."
by buying
But-
the Nintendo Switch. If-
I mean, they might have to do that because this
Yeah,
could
no.
be very expensive. I don't know.
Yeah.
what
yeah,
the
I don't
price is
think
at
it's.
all.
Gonna,
It
I
does-
think it's definitely in the $2.99 to $3.99.
But it matters how
area.
powerful it is,
Yeah.
right? Because
It's
they
well-
want battery life, and batteries, But if it's really powerful, it's going to drain battery life.
Yeah.
And you just get this kind of arms
It-
race versus power and battery
So
life.
You wait. You don't think it'd be over $3.99, do you?
No, I think
I
it'll be
don't.
400.
Yeah.
which is expensive. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
not
also
crazy.
selling as a console, right? And so I think that's where some people will say, I understand this is a full-fledged console. I'm not paying 400 or 399 or whatever it is, 349 for a handheld unit. Even though, I mean, like, this is a great shot, right? Like, you can see it is a card with a soft D powered
Cartridge.
device. It does not have spinning media because that would be really tricky to do, as we've seen with the PSP for a handheld, right?
Yeah.
Things
UMDs,
break,
baby.
it takes a lot of energy. So it's got a new, looks like proprietary because it's really fat.
What do you
card
think the
format.
game boxes will look like? Full
Ooh,
size?
can't wait.
Small?
No, I think they'll be small.
Yeah.
Yeah, they want
think they'll
want
be-
you to take them with you.
I was talking about this on GameScoop, but what is your shelf gonna look like for all your NS games?
I think. Well, for starters, you'll just have that old collection of like the cards in the little. Like,
I know in a big
The
booklet.
binder. But I was gonna say, I bet you there will be a solution, which is you can download something you've already bought into a card. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to store them all; they're all digital, and you'll just load it up. And
Do you think
download
that's the entire storage area then?
it. For games? I think it's most of it. I'm sure
No.
there's internal storage.
It'll
Do you
have
think
s-
there's internal?
Yeah.
I think that it will have some internal storage. Like Nintendo devices have done that now for a while.
Yeah.
Especially for
It has to for the
But probably
OS.
not hard drive.
You want it to
right?
save
That's
because
that's too battery
you
intensive.
you can't do cloud saves when you're on the go, right? Like it's not going to have you're not going to be able to connect everywhere you go.
We don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't
but-
know if it has any networking yet. I'm skeptical
Well,
of that.
we know it has
It'll use
local
Wi-Fi.
networking, I think, because it
And local.
showed the Splatoon.
the
Yeah.
scene.
versus, yeah.
And NBA 2K implies.
Oh,
you know,
right, yeah.
Whether it supports.
But
it or
maybe they're
not.
just all playing their own single player
Yeah,
campaigns.
see, they
No, but-
imply right here that you both can you can watch each other play the other game.
They're
No,
doing. I
they're-
mean, they may be
they're
doing local
suggesting-
multiplayer, just like with the 3DS, right? Like that's a great.
Yeah, are
feature
they,
that
like,
people
syncing it up?
enjoy. Yeah, and they're playing together. That could, if you think of games like the kind of Four Swords style Zelda games, that would work really well. But I agree with you guys. Like maybe they're selling cards that you can store games to, but that would also suggest that they are going to finally go with a real account system where you have one Nintendo ID. You can log into the device, and it will work with your downloads. And you can't just burn them for.
Hey,
hours.
I have a good
You're at.
question or a good comment about battery life from
I
Andres.
can at least laugh that these guys took a break from real basketball to play fake basketball on
Take
the
a
Well,
break.
tiny
they're
screen.
learning the strategies.
Oh, they're-
You
I
know,
see,
we
I
got a
see.
quote from 2K that they wouldn't say that this was NBA 2K.
No third parties are
No.
confirming, right?
Yeah,
Well,
like
they
the
just said
actual
we
games.
worked with them on the trailer.
Yeah, and so that's the question. Is like these could be concepts of games that you'll be seeing. But look, if you're a publisher and Nintendo says you want to be in the trailer, like you're not going to give them some bold trailer and say, and risk that people will be upset that that game never comes out. It's a pretty good indicator that a Skyrim game or an NBA 2K game
Yeah,
will
I'm
come.
sure they.
Go Warriors too, right?
Actually, a
really
little bit of a troll because they're showing how Cleveland is beating them, just like it.
Yeah. But
Oh,
Nintendo's based out of Seattle, so.
Yeah, who knows?
All right, Andres writes, love the new announcement about the Switch this morning. However, I'm a little worried about the battery life. How do you think Nintendo will address this issue? I think that the new controllers might work as two separate battery packs when attached. It would extend the battery life of the Switch. Love the show and would love to hear your thoughts.
I don't think so. I think
We didn't
they-
see any charging for those, but could they add battery life instead of draining it?
They're
No,
they're so
too
small.
small.
I think they will have very small small batteries in
That's
them.
too much tech to.
Yeah.
There's no way they're gonna have like a battery inside that thing and then two in those two.
Yeah.
So you think
Plus-
those are double A's inside the two controllers?
No,
Or-
no,
or
they have their
rechargeable.
own very light power source, but meaning they're not gonna charge the tablet. In fact, I would argue they
It's
need to
just-
hold on to every last bit of power they can so they work long enough, right?
But once
Yeah.
it's on there, it's like it's valuable real
Thi-
estate. Like, Apple looks at that and they're like, wow, we
Well,
could add,
true.
we could
No,
add hours of battery
it's
life.
possible. It could
Yeah.
be. I mean, honestly, I'm
That
not
would be really cool.
into the latest battery tech. Maybe with a very small amount of space and for not much, you can
Yeah.
do that. But
Yeah.
I'm thinking the opposite, which is how long do those controllers last? Are they like plentiful, or are you now going to run into issues where it's like,
Well,
crap?
if they're on the sides, hopefully you don't need to still charge them, right? Hopefully they're powered by the system if
Then
they're
they're
not powered by the
connected,
system,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because it would be messed up if you lose battery life on your one side.
No,
So-
yeah, they'd both be charged, but
They're pretty simple, by the way. There are
They
no
seem
big
very simple,
blue
yeah.
glowing lights
Yeah.
on these things, right? They're very simple kind of travel controllers.
They could be
Presumably,
Bluetooth
they
too. Pokemon
long
Go Plus.
outlive. I promise you, they will long outlive the 2 hours ish that gamepad can run with a game like
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild. Like
So-
I think the Achilles heel of this device will be battery life.
yeah,
I'm
overall.
hoping they'll do better than 2 hours. But man, there's a lot going on with this machine.
Right.
Biggest concern.
Yeah.
It's your biggest concern?
Yeah, battery life.
I guess my biggest concern is graphical power. Look,
Yeah.
this scene looks like they really cobbled that video. You see how bad
Think
that
so?
looked?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The framing of the
Yeah,
Mario Kart
maybe.
imagery.
Might
Look,
be comped in.
You guys
there,
want to
yeah.
talk about games?
Are we talking about software yet?
should talk
Because
about
like
games.
we're
Let's talk about
staring
games.
at
You're the
a
host, Sam.
screen.
Of a
Hold
game
on,
that
all right,
doesn't-
that's perfect. We're
Yeah.
staring at a screen that shows us Mario Kart 8, which is a gorgeous game running on a device that you can take with you. So that's first of all really awesome.
You think
It's
this
showing
one's 8?
us- Huh?
Yeah.
This is 8. So this is actually a DLC from 8. So you got this afterwards, which means they're probably doing this whole thing where they're releasing the entire
Yeah.
package with all the DLC. But that's not it. There's more. If you go to the next screen, like
They're in
that
a
was
bus,
all. That
a
could have
van.
been Wii U footage, right? Like
Yeah.
that
but-
cannot be Wii U footage because there are 3 things in that screen. There's King Boo,
Well,
who's
show
not a
the-
playable character.
Show the close up. Give it 1 second.
Yeah, if there's a closer
Here.
look, there is a
Aw,
little
brings back
icon.
such good memories.
There's a little icon that looks like dry bones
Mhm.
on the map screen, right? And by the way, look, the map is
Right in the
between
center of
the
the
two,
map.
Yeah.
two players. It's
So
no
it's
longer
not just
on a
a
separate
port
screen.
of Double Dash.
And then of 8, but yeah, you said Double Dash. Look
No,
at the
because
top.
it's a Double Dash level, and these are Double Dash elements.
Well, yes, but Double Dash did not have the straight kind of item switch like this. It's definitely custom.
Yeah,
Right?
Switch
So it wasn't
keyboard
item
double
switch,
dash.
it was-
This
Yeah,
is
two
Mario
character
Kart.
switch.
This is Mario Kart 8.
7.9.
You're driving on a GCN level
7.9.
here, but you have item switch. Which,
Yeah.
Did you
He
like
owns
that
it.
feature? In
I mean, I
Double
like
Dash, you
switching
had
it,
the
but
character
you
switch,
switch characters, which I liked in
Yeah.
Double Dash, by the
Yeah.
way. Item switching is cool, absolutely. Yeah.
So it's more strategic, right? You
It-
can hold on to your mushroom boost and then deploy your red turtle shell when somebody comes by.
But the point here is, it's basically seems to be Mario Kart 8 with an upgrade. This is a theme that we
Yeah.
see throughout this. We see Splatoon. I don't know if you want to jump to that.
And
but-
so yeah, and I think both games are a perfect example of something that you could also apply to Smash Brothers is they have created awesome multiplayer games here. All 3 of those games are awesome. And the only sad thing is that, they die with the life cycle of the Wii U. And with this, they're actually getting extended life because you can keep on playing these games. You can jump straight from the last game to these. Now, they are changed, right? Remember, when you play Splatoon, you needed the touchscreen map to jump to the help of your friends. They're going to
Yeah.
have to rework all of this because you no longer have a dual screen setup. And we're not seeing any real gameplay footage. But these are redone games. That is not a map that's in Splatoon that you're seeing right there.
yeah, let's have what I used to refer to as real talk on the
Real
episode
talk.
of
What's a real
Nintendo Voice
talk?
Chat. Jose loves real talk.
Speak frankly.
Real
Oh.
But real talk, right? The Wii U was basically a failure from a hardware perspective. It didn't sell a bunch. They made some really great games on it
Yeah.
that didn't get played.
Great
They
library.
have this huge library. Well, not huge, but they have a good library. So why wouldn't they reuse it? They're going to reuse Splatoon. They're going to reuse Mario Kart 8, and I think there's going to be more. You brought up Smash.
And
I think
Mario
that
Maker are
absolutely.
all going to come. No
You're
question.
going to see them with upgrades and additions, and it's going to be cool. And I have no problem with that. I think that's
So-
awesome.
Well, some people may think it's a bait and switch because you're paying full price again for these experiences, right? That you just shelled
Well,
out.
yeah, we made a
cash
mistake
for.
if we bought the Wii U and didn't like that we got enough out of it.
So,
right?
so
That's my fault.
But if these games are upgraded, and certainly we already saw a major gameplay change that's going to make Mario Kart pretty fresh. There's going to be new characters. We saw hints at 2 already, right?
Mhm.
Like, if there are even more things like that, like new track packs that
Yeah.
are included with this version, all new levels and
That's
challenges.
exciting. Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, Mario Kart 8 did not have a battle mode, right? If this is the game that brings back battle mode in a major way, oh yeah, sign me up.
Yeah.
There's my $60.
Yeah, I'm sure they can add plenty of it. I'm not worried about that. I just think it's notable that there should be. This is what's really interesting to me about this launch is that, okay, it's going to launch with a Zelda. I don't know that Mario's going to happen,
I
but
know.
holy cow,
Can you show the Zelda
the
footage they
the,
had in
the
here?
time has finally come. Well, it should launch with Zelda. We're assuming, right? That's
Yeah.
what they've been saying, right?
Not the Zelda trailers we got today. The
Oh.
little bit of Zelda footage.
You wanted to
in
see
there.
it
I
in
don't
the
know if you
beginning
know
of the
where
trailer?
It is.
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh,
Right
you
here.
we've
wanna-
all
Very
watched it
beginning.
so
You
many
want to show
times.
King Moblin?
King Moblin, yeah.
It's right after this.
This just looks a little bit different than what we played at E3 and what were the 3 trailers today.
Yeah.
None of them had a lot of new areas or stuff, but that was a little bit of new things.
They keep on like, and that
It's
it worries me a little bit that we're not seeing kind of like small new elements peppered throughout these new trailers. But we did get a new kind
There
of
we
mini
go.
boss character, right?
Yeah.
This red guy looks exactly exactly like a tiny little sprite from Link's Awakening. The King
Oh,
Moblin,
look at
the
his
dude
cool nose.
who kidnapped Bow Wow, right? Like, but he
You
has
know
that
way
kind of,
too much about.
I know.
but
yeah.
he has this cool. Well, he has
did
the
his research.
pendant and all that, but like he's got this like awesome like Ganon like snout and
Look
everything.
how big he is.
Yeah.
too.
And he's humongous. And
Oh,
this looks cool.
presumably yet another boss, like that Talus guy that you just come across by wandering around and just exploring.
And this Joker's playing Zelda in the park.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
Like, look at that.
But-
So, man, can you imagine overpowering the glare of the sun while trying to play a 3D Zelda game?
That is an interesting point to make.
Yeah.
Like, how bright is this? Actually, I didn't even think about that.
And
yet.
how
It's gotta be
shiny-
pretty bright
I have to
play
turn
the
my
park.
iPhone way up, which drains my iPhone as
Yeah.
it is.
And how shiny is the screen? You're definitely getting. Do you see the reflection
Yeah.
of the guy in the bottom? Like we're getting into the weeds here, but like the Wii U touchscreen display was a little dull.
Yeah.
And like when you look
This
closely,
is
you
shiny,
see
yeah.
little dots, which you're not seeing here. Again, it could be mocked up and stuff, but you're not seeing the same kind of technology.
Yeah.
So it could be a little bit more like a modern tablet, shinier, glossier screen. Certainly a better colors.
It
than the
looks
Wii U
better,
one,
yeah.
too.
I mean, we
Yeah.
got this is all the stuff we're not going to know until we see it in person.
Yeah.
But to finish my point,
Yeah, go ahead.
the launch could be very exciting in that you have a pretty darn good catalog shaping up here. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think Mario will be there at launch, but Zelda, maybe a Splatoon upgrade, a Mario Kart 8 upgrade, ready in March. I mean, now I'm excited. That's awesome.
By the way, you can tell that this is not completely finished and a little janky. Look at the right controller; it doesn't fit as snugly as the left one onto it. You
Oh,
see
yeah,
a
it's
little bit of
off a
a
little
gap
bit,
there,
yeah.
right? Like he either didn't put it on right, or this is just a little.
Could be the
it's-
angle.
It's just not.
We'll see.
done.
Yeah.
Yep, we'll see.
So out of all of the games shown so far, I think the one that spoke the most to
Oh, I know
it
what
was
you're
just
gonna
kind of a
say.
messaging game. It's Skyrim, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Like showing this
Well,
is
we'll
just
talk about Mario afterwards. but
yeah, I thought you were going to say Mario.
it just is like a kind of like what? Why is this different from our previous stuff? It's because it has a Bethesda game on it, a big open world, adult themed game. Like
Yeah.
this is so exciting for a lot of people, and I want to just be a voice for those people. I don't know if you guys agree, but like this really thrills me. Like I want to play Fallout and Skyrim on a Nintendo system,
Okay.
and I can't explain why very well.
So I've been down this road before with Nintendo, though.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to play new releases and all that. That's what we think. This is probably remastered, right?
Mhm.
Which is, by the
It
way,
looks
what is
like
the
it because of the smoke and lighting.
but what's the
effects.
release date for remastered?
It's
It's coming out soon.
Yeah.
it's next Friday.
exactly.
It's
So
already going to be
it'll
open.
be
Special
out
edition,
5
it's
months
called.
before this on PS4 and Xbox
Mhm.
One. Which, if you already own, I mean, honestly, there's no reason to wait. And so that happens a lot.
If you want to play it on the go.
But yeah, that is. I think that's a very good point. Is it the type of game you want to play on the go? Now you're talking. Vita found a market for that. But in general, meaning
Or it did.
I get my hopes up that it's going to get actual ports of Titanfall 2 and all this other stuff. But the reality is, it gets a limited set because of the hardware limitation.
And guys, it's not on a disc.
And it's not a home
Right?
console.
Let's not kid
Yeah.
ourselves. When you look at games that are really big, the Fallouts and the Skyrims, they take up massive space,
Yeah.
right? They
Absolutely.
They're 50
require
gigs, 60
lots of
gigs.
hard drive space at those sizes. Yes, it's possible to do that on storage media like the kind of special SD cards, but that's also not cheap. So we will have to see if this is going to become reality. But what a statement to make, right?
It's a
to show a
statement.
game
That's,
like
I
this,
guess, my
there's
point.
another scene that clearly shows it's the special edition because the lighting
Yeah.
and the tree
There's no
designs
kids
are
playing
changed.
Mario Party or playing with Mii's. There's no
Nope.
Mii's.
Yeah, it's good
right?
message.
But they're showing like, hey, maybe these giant open world games that we all are giving Game of the Year to
Yeah.
could come to the system, and maybe Zelda is one of those.
yeah, I mean, there's no kids at all in this. To Pear's earlier point, that is interesting. The marketing
No
is
grandma either having
like,
fun with it.
There
They're-
are amiibo.
There are amiibo in it, yeah, but the messaging is all about, like, honestly, it looks like the 18 to mid 20s is the angle they're
Yeah.
taking with a lot of this.
There you
I
go.
think
Yeah,
it's.
this
I
is
think it would appeal to
special edition.
35-year-olds.
Well, yeah, it does. I'm just saying their marketing is very much towards that. So it's interesting.
And
They're-
older people.
It used to be so focused on more of the children, so to speak. So
Yeah.
it's interesting.
Oh, every time, right? It's
Yeah.
like everybody can play the system, but this is
Yes.
so funny that they're
More
doing the
valuable.
marketing towards video game editors.
These buttons are
Yeah.
teeny tiny.
Maybe
guys.
that dude's thumb
Look at
is
this.
huge.
No, that is not a giant person.
Did you guys see the Famicom Classic Edition?
Yeah.
The
They have tiny too.
So yeah, our version
yeah.
of the NES Classic is regular size NES controllers, but theirs actually is scaled to match their system. So these tiny little Famicom controllers.
But
There you go.
But what is cool about these controllers, and like we already established that they're probably not going to be that pricey, is that this could be another pack-in strategy for Nintendo, where now you're going to get a Sheikah slate style kind of design that you attach to your tablet,
Yeah.
right? Like you could actually do some cool stuff with different control mechanisms, right? I don't know how many people are excited about having more hardware in their drawers again, because we went through that with
Like
all
in your
the
pants?
cradles
Yeah.
and things. But
That's weird.
you could do some cool stuff with special controllers here that I
That
think
is like
could
there
be
was people theorizing about that. Like you
Mhm.
could attach like a GameCube controller attachment for the
Mhm.
button style, and I mean
Hey.
technically you could, which could be kind of
Or-
fun, but
Yeah.
remains to be
bongo
seen.
drums.
Let's take a look at the little bit of Mario seconds.
Oh man,
Yes. So where was
That's
Mario?
what I'm really
Mario
excited about here.
was.
Yeah, and with I just wish we would have gotten like, and these are the names of these games or potential names, because these could
Here it
never
is.
happen. Like
But
they
this-
might just not exist ever in any form. But that perspective of Mario jumping there
Oh,
is
look at that.
This one.
Did you see the controller
Yeah.
has the little green lights to show you that it's controller 1?
that
There you go.
land that they're showing there. That's not Super Mario 3D World style. That's an
No.
open
Yeah.
area. in
Oh
a-
yeah,
in a-
this is
64 style.
finally
Yes.
it's not Galaxy. It's actually quite honestly, it's more Super Mario Sunshine than anything.
Sunshine-esque,
The
yeah.
look-
Which is
He doesn't have the people expect the flood
No, there's
back
no water
back then, but like
I'm just
Yeah.
saying that because when you think about it, Galaxy was sort of the around the
Yeah.
globe gravity thing, and we got 2 of those. But other than that, we didn't have this traditional Mario
There's like
64.
a little guy in a sombrero.
yeah.
Yep.
But the question is like, what's weird about this shot, by the way, is it looks so empty. It's almost like this is an open world
Yeah.
and you find a little town.
I don't know,
below.
this
Don't
looks
say that it's the
very
same,
awesome.
same breath as Mario.
No, this
Yeah.
looks very much like Sunshine, right? I mean,
A
to
hub
me,
world.
Yeah.
you're getting pushed in. Who knows? But
Yeah.
you're
There's
starting
there
the
is
level.
a moon out there. Maybe you could get
There's
to
a
it.
fountain in back.
Yeah.
And there's some
Um,
kind of marker in the distance that glow.
It's very Samba de Amigo to me, like the art style, like dancing cactus. And
There
all,
does
you
seem
know?
to be
It's
a
pretty-
Like, would
possible
you develop-
Mexico
Yeah.
or some kind of like South American feel, because you see that in the next shot. It's almost like here we'll go to it's like Aztec or Mayan like engravings on the wall to
Well,
the
maybe-
left.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
See
they're
these?
taking the
Yeah.
world's
Oh yeah,
kind
maybe
of
we're only
name
seeing
a
one
little bit
part
more
of this
seriously.
area.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah,
I feel like the camera is telling us here this is not a Mario 3D world.
No, it's Mario 64 style, like the style that it pioneered. I mean, down to like they start off by showing you the triple jump. Here they're showing you the long jump, right? Like all these kind of like classic control mechanisms.
Yeah.
And then you see a bullet bill in 3D. The camera is not going overhead like in.
But
the
I
3D
will-
world
This looks
game.
hard. This
Yeah.
this
And
level
what's
they
up with
show
the
jumping
rings,
through
by
the
the way?
rings. Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
Maybe
Sonic.
Sonic's in it.
You know what I will say though is you see now that I'm watching it closely,
Yep.
both of these, and it might just be this part of it, but both of those you're getting. Sorry, it's really hard to scrub on
What if
this
it's
laptop.
sunshine too?
I know.
No, wait. Both
'Cause
of
it's
There's
in
a
these.
the
lot of
desert.
sunshine.
Right in the desert, there'd
Yeah.
be lots of sunshine.
This is interesting. Both of these you're kind of just running forward, which
Yep.
we've seen them do before.
Like it's an infinite runner.
I don't know though.
No.
Come on, you can see their
No,
stuff
look.
on the sides too. No.
There is, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I don't know. Right now, it has that push forward. I'm not saying that's the
Yeah.
only thing, but you do
But-
notice,
you're
right?
right, yeah.
It looks very much
Th-
like because you can go off to the right. There's like a heart or something.
This
over
looks
there.
this looks very much like a Mario 64 level to me, like classic, but with the addition of those weird kind of crystal or
Glacial
ice
things,
mountains.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
whether he has to melt them or like bring them back into this dimension or
Clean
something. Like
is better
that
than
seems
dirty.
like a very very Nintendo element, right?
Yeah.
How cool would it be though if this was Sunshine? Like this was another Sunshine game in the series, because it's very deserty themed from what we've seen so far. But
So-
we'll see.
There's
I
a
have
lot of sun.
after we've looked
Islandy.
through all these games and talked to them a bit, I have a good question from a reader.
Super Mario
uh,
Moonshine.
Yeah, maybe. Named Ray. He says, long time, first time, with Nintendo boasting a whole gang of partners ready to support the Switch. We've all seen that graphic, and if you haven't, go on IGN.com. There's a great infographic of all the developers that are supporting it. Who's your dream developer for Nintendo Switch games? Have they already been announced? Is it Nintendo themselves? I know it's a long shot, but I hope to see a Blizzard game on the Switch. Maybe not that long of a shot. Didn't they do StarCraft on the 64? Even if it's just Hearthstone. Thanks and keep up the good work. Blizzard tweeted an image of Hearthstone at Nintendo today.
Oh, they did?
Oh,
You're
that's
kidding
so
me.
awesome. Well, basically saying, guys, you want to talk to us because yeah,
That'd be perfect.
So
That would be
StarCraft
perfect.
64, I feel like, is an underrated console port of an RTS. It's tough to make those games work. Blizzard farmed that one out.
Here's
but,
the list of people
but-
if you want to
but
see
they
who your
did-
favorite is on.
Yeah,
there.
they did a really nice job. Look, the company that I want to make games for a Nintendo console is Nintendo first
Yeah, I
and foremost.
know, I
With
know. It's a
all
boring
its
answer.
studios like Intelligent Systems, Retro. We
Retro.
haven't seen
Yeah.
anything for Retro, obviously.
It'll
or
be a
have
Donkey
we?
Kong.
Yeah.
We don't know. But yeah, that's my. I would love Blizzard on this machine.
Yeah.
No question.
Overwatch.
Yeah.
I do see Platinum Games on the list, so you got to throw them a
Yep.
little love here. I mean,
Not to
obviously
mention
that would be
DNA,
awesome.
who makes Nintendo's mobile games, is on there, so we're probably going to get the same games on
And I
iPhone.
mean, Ubisoft has been a big supporter, so if they can get the big stuff on there, that would be very exciting.
The obvious game that honestly, like, I'll probably play it on Scorpio before anything else would be Red Dead Redemption 2. I love the first game.
So 2K is on here.
2K is on here. Well, Take-Two.
Take-Two, sorry.
But
I keep saying 2K,
are
sorry
they
about that.
is Take-Two on there?
Take-Two's on.
Yeah.
Take-Two is on there. 2K obviously is represented.
Well,
in its
it's
trailer
represented
somehow,
in NBA probably somehow.
with that brand, but the Rockstar brand is not explicitly listed, which is under the Take-Two umbrella.
Starbreeze is
Chinatown
on there?
Wars.
Huh? They did do Chinatown Wars, so
Not a stranger to Nintendo.
We'll see. But it's Kojima Studios, Kojima Productions would be a good one to have on this machine. But
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's a standalone company. All right.
Yeah.
What else do you guys want to talk about? We want to just go around and talk about our final thoughts of the system before we wrap up?
well, there are a
Yeah,
bunch
we
of
probably
things.
should.
Look at that shot. You see your amiibo in there.
I
right?
know,
So
yeah, I
we will
should
be
mention
using
that.
amiibo in
Those
there.
are the Mario Party amiibo, so this could just be a Mario Party game.
No, that would be
Did I
terrible.
just
Why do you
break
why
your
do
heart?
you
sure it
do
will
that?
have
Did I break
That's
your
so
Sure it will
hearts?
sad.
have that.
What a cool credenza. Look at that. It has numbers.
Sorry, I have to
I know
tell
you can keep your 45s in there, your records. It's
Yeah.
perfect for that. It makes me
No,
jealous.
look. I mean, I think overall impressions. Like, what do you think? How did you like when you
Yes,
watched
well,
this?
let's talk
3-minute
about
trailer,
reactions,
How do you
impressions.
feel?
I felt that it doesn't this system doesn't embarrass me in any way to talk about a show or anything like that. Like I'm excited that it's not directed towards kids and that it's has a couple games I already think like those are the only games I'll think about next year.
Well,
Mario, Zelda, etc. But yeah, I have no problem with this concept.
yeah. So my first impression was
Unlike the Wii U.
my first impression was cool. Like I was expecting actually a little less. I thought they would announce the name and maybe the month, which is March 2017, as expected, right? And then show the concept. I didn't think they would actually say
full concept.
basically here's Mario Kart. Didn't expect stuff like Skyrim, like these kinds of hints. I did not expect Mario.
Yeah, I did not.
Which
expect
is awesome that it's in there. So that alone makes me happy to know that Splatoon lives on, which is honestly this game I love, and the only reason I've stopped playing is because other
There's
games
no-
have come out,
yeah.
and so that seeing it again suggests to me we're gonna get new DLC content and the system developing over time again. I'm super excited about that. I think the sad doggy controller I don't like. I know it's like I look at it and I just think it doesn't.
This might be a bad perspective. I saw it from the back in one of the
It looks
videos that
better,
he
for
had,
sure.
where like
Yeah.
it looks a little bit longer and not taller.
No,
This
it's
looks
weird,
too
dude.
tall.
But it is a weird controller. But then we haven't talked much about the Pro controller. I think the Pro controller looks awesome.
Yeah.
It looks like the one they showed has this see-through plastic. Some people think there's like Zelda runes on the back of it. I think that controller looks really, really cool, and I'm excited to play with that. I think the tablet itself, the console itself, looks cool. I like the logo. I like the dock. All of that.
Switch
stuff
is a little bit of a weird
is
name.
cool.
It's not, but it's not.
You
I'm
think
glad
so?
they parted from Wii. I think Wii U is confusing, but Switch means something. But it's not like this like big buzzwordy marketing
Yeah,
thing. It's just a
like Wii.
word that doesn't mean much.
But it means
we
something-
wanted it to be swap. Remember, we tried to guess this,
Yeah.
and we guessed swap.
Did you
And
really?
we made stop and swap jokes. I don't think we ever got to switch because
Yeah.
swap's a better name.
Yeah. So-
But switch is clever. Swap is not a pretty word, but switch is clever because just think of all the visual elements with that switch
Turn
idea
on
you can
type
do.
thing, like that
All
kind
like the switching of controllers is so cool.
Switch it up,
Like again,
yeah.
like I love the name. I think it's really good. It
Yeah.
is an odd one because it's a common word, so it's not as unique as Wii with 2 eyes or PlayStation or Xbox or any of these names.
I don't think that
But
matters though.
I think it's really cool. No, like I am happy it's not called the Nintendo Doko Demo or whatever, like
Yeah.
like a crazy Japanese word.
Yep.
Yeah. The cart thing is a weird one, but it makes sense for a portable console. Like
Battery and
it's
light.
exactly what I expected it would be, honestly, and I'm happy with that.
We
And
need
now
to
I
snap
want
off
to
that
know
little
more.
stand.
I want to know more about the power. Can it actually run Skyrim Special Edition, or is that just to kind of show off that maybe it can?
Yep.
What do you think?
And yeah, for me, it was about what I expected. I did not expect the 2 detachable controllers in that angle. And yeah, it really came together nicely. They did a great job with the announcement. They did more than they normally really do. They all at once, right? Mario, here's the console, here's the name, here's the release date. So they kept us waiting a long time, but I'm happy that there was no more mystery to
These
it.
guys are a band on tour.
That's right.
There's a lot of the vibe is good things come to those who wait, right? Like they're telling you, here's what the thing is. There will be more information. They did not do the all-out like blowout of this is the big hooks for the launch games yet. You know?
Yep. And then, the last point I'd make is I think I was talking about in the beginning, like the Vita has found like a hardcore super fan base. Like people love their Vita. This is a certain type of player who likes games. They're hardcore players, but they want quote unquote real games or whatever you want to consider them. So this gives you really an awesome vehicle for that. I think right away, right, if you're a Vita fan, you'd be pretty interested in this all of a sudden. And then will it find a bigger market there where maybe Vita couldn't? So I think that's interesting, but definitely biggest concerns. Battery time, and how this definitely seems like the type of device that for me, I'm stoked bringing it on playing 6 months in. Perry, you can make fun of it in a second. 6 months in, and then I don't know if it's going to last more than a couple of years. Perry
What
has
are you giggling
You know
about?
what I want to say? Go back to that scene.
What?
Like you said, battery life is one worry. I'd say account systems and online like connectivity are another worry of mine, because what I'm seeing here is like somebody literally yelling through the window, "Come and play," and that's not very different to the current invite system Nintendo has. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
this is the next thing I want to see is the software. Like how do
The
I
OS.
befriend someone? How do I invite somebody to a game?
You just press that
without
mystery
opening
button.
the window and taking my controller out there.
We
That
don't know a
said,
single thing about the UI.
no, that said, I really love the concept
Or
of
the OS.
having this little screen you can set up and you can just crowd around and play. That's really cool.
And then my only last note was, although they don't show the kid angle, I think it's awesome for that. I mean, back of the car, 2 mini controllers, at school backpack, actually has a ton of potential. But then again, they already all have their phones and tablets, so that's where it's going to be interesting.
Yep. All right, so we should wrap this up. What
Yeah.
an exciting day, though. This only
Oh.
happens once in a blue moon. This blue moon was a little bit closer to the last blue moon. There was less of a gap between consoles this
Guess so,
time.
yeah.
And there'll be
But
more.
it's cool. So you can, if you like this episode, I'm sure we have a few new people listening because this is such a momentous day and a cool episode. You can go to youtube.com/Nintendo Voice Chat. Please subscribe there. And of course, every episode can be found on IGN. So go to the top of the page, go to IGN.com, click on the shows, and you can find Nintendo Voice Chat there. See who we all are and see more of the things we do. Until next time, I guess I can only leave you with this. Switch, be cool.
Switch it up.